This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a video on Wonka. It's the new movie about Willy Wonka. You know, if they recreate these MK Ultra movies over and over and over again without explaining why they just make a remake when, well, they already made the movie, so couldn't you just watch the old one? Oh, well, they need to update it, of course, update it with new mind control ideologies, make them more communist woke, and of course put more and more signs and symbols in there now, since back 50 years ago they couldn't get away with pretty much calling Willy Wonka a witch or a magician, but now they can, of course, so they want to make sure you know that Wonka has perfected his craft as a magician, because now that's the theme of Willy Wonka. Well, of course it is. I mean, everything's about magic and witchcraft. It's right in front of our faces, but they tell you it's not real, that people that talk about it are conspiracy theorists. Yet for ages, witches and Satanists have been run out of towns and had worse things than getting run out of town happen to them. But they tell us that it's all fictitious, yet they just constantly talk about it. Every theme in Disney is about it. Harry Potter, of course, and this movie happens to be made by the producers of Harry Potter, and of course they conveniently use the lightning bolt in their logo, and I'll show you the trailer clips in a minute. But I just want to let everybody know, even a video like this about Wonka could be essentially a threat and be something that's hate speech. Why? Well, because there's no definition of hate speech, of course. They've just made it up so they could censor things they don't like, which is truth. So, if you haven't subscribed to my backup channel yet, Eye for an Eye, please do so now. I need to get 4,000 watch hours over on that channel. I need more of you to subscribe if you haven't. Please don't look at it and say, well, I'll get around to it later. Well, don't, because that's happened to over 1 million subscribers of mine who have lost all of my content. I mean, I'm a new YouTuber, wink, wink, who have lost out on new videos, who think that I've retired and set off into the sunset or whatever the saying is, when in reality, I have not. The reason they don't know where I am is because they pretty much put off subbing to my backup channels after I said time and time again to do so. And it's not me yelling at anyone. I'm just saying, please do so now if you want to watch the content. If you don't like the content, then don't bother subscribing, but you'll be missing out on a lot of stuff. So please make sure you do so now. Pause the video, click the link below, or search it yourself. It's called Eye for an Eye. So, Wonka, of course, I'm going to play the trailer for you. You'll notice so many things in the trailer really quickly, as it's a 35-second clip I'm going to play for you, but keep your eye on some of the main ones. The craft, magic, even an as above, so below type reference. Well, just take a look for yourself.
I've spent the past 7 years traveling the world perfecting my craft. See, I'm something of a magician. Quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that, reverse it. I'm making chocolate absolutely insane. I've been easy for you. They're gonna get better. I pinky promise. That's the most solemn vow there is.
A good chocolate, Mr. Oh, that's a chocolate that makes you fly.
Who's for a Hummerchuck?
Nothing to see here. Just a small group of people defying the laws of gravity.
My name is Willy Wonka.
Every good thing in this world started with a dream.
So, of course, why wouldn't they remake Wonka? It's another chance for them to incorporate magic, witchcraft, and sorcery into a movie that's really sent and directed towards children. You couldn't watch the original, right? You couldn't watch the original. You got to watch this one. Why? Well, because they want to continue to indoctrinate children with magic. The first Willy Wonka, of course, had the same theme, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory wasn't basically all about it. Now, didn't they just remake this movie a couple of years ago with Johnny Depp? So clearly they're just rolling this out over and over and over again because this is one of their MK Ultra projects that they use. They use the same themes, the same storylines over and over and over again to program and brainwash you. So in this trailer, you see this actor who is playing Wonka. I'll start there with the most obvious. This kid goes by the name, let me make sure I got it here, Timothy Chalamet. You might say, oh, okay, who's this guy? Is this another, Illuminati puppet? Well, of course it is, of course. I mean, you'll see all-seeing eye symbolism with his hair over his eye on the cover of Vogue. You'll see him constantly throwing up devil horns. Oh, I mean, that supposedly means rock and roll, right? Because this guy's a rock and roll artist, isn't he? Oh, no, he's not. But what is he known for as an actor? That's really what's most important, because he's now being promoted as a top-level Hollywood star, and, well, he paid his dues all right. I mean, he was in a documentary, a fictional film, wink, wink. You might remember I did a video, or another YouTuber did a video on it a while back. Do you remember? It's got a lot to do with everything going on in the world right now. The movie was called Call Me By Your Name. And what was the plot of the film? Well, the plot was about A young boy who falls in love with an adult male. Yeah, might as well be called Call Me Nambla, but that's another story for another day. So Timothy, of course, is now being rolled out as one of Hollywood's big stars. How convenient, right? So let's get into the film. Of course, right off the bat, we hear about craft, right? Perfecting his craft. This is a common term. Well, who calls what they do a craft? Well, we know witches do, right? And we know Freemasons do. They call it the perfection of their craft, right? Then we hear celebrities and stuff say it all the time, so we all just repeat it because we hear it. People don't even know what they're saying half the time. Right? They're always like, oh, I sacrificed. Oh, you sacrificed, did you? Well, the celebrity says, they made sacrifices to be famous, so they're assuming that they didn't eat dinner. They were cut back on carbohydrates so they could get abs for their movie, so they made sacrifices, so they think that's what they mean when they really mean that they made human sacrifices. Well, same difference here, right? With the craft, we constantly hear about the craft. They're talking about witchcraft, which is the same craft they talk about in Freemasonry. So then he goes on to talk about being a magician. He's a magician of sorts, and of course, does the as above, so below, up and down. As above, so below, Freemasonry, Baphomet, occult worship. So with that, of course, they throw in their black and white Masonic tile floors, but that's a coincidence as well, right? The black and white Masonic floors that we see in every single movie, every single music video, every single Freemason lodge. And again, if you're not aware, there's a lodge in every town in America. This is where they indoctrinate. Those people who are members of Freemasonry, maybe not the ones who are below a third level degree, are aware of what's going on. Now, they don't have inside and intel on what the government's doing. They don't have intel on really much. I mean, a lot of them are clueless as far as, government agendas and things like that, unless they get higher ranking up in Freemasonry. But they do worship Lucifer. So if you're comfortable with devil worshippers in your town, then you're comfortable with the Freemason lodge in your town. Same with the Eastern Star. Now, they'll, of course, put on fronts. They'll be out around the church. They'll be out at local parades. They'll be saying that they love the kids in the children's hospital and give them money so that they can help. But really, it's all a front because that's what Satanists do. Hence, look at Hollywood and look at all the famous business owners who constantly let us know that they're philanthropists and that they give money to charity and they give money to kids and they want to stop hunger. It's all front. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? In secret societies, they're told and taught to be philanthropists so that people naturally will not look at them as suspects, as bad people. They look at them as esteemed people. Hierarchs of the community. Good people with good backbones and good spirit who are here to help. So, again, that's how they get away with this stuff. So, they have the Masonic tile, of course, in it. We have lightning, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, lightning, because they love lightning so much. They are big fans of the Weather Channel. All of them sit out on their porch all the time, and they watch storms, and they say to themselves, boy, I wish I could be the next Jim Cantore and get on the Weather Channel. No, it actually references the Bible. That's why we see lightning. That's why all the musicians have lightning bolts on their album covers, tattooed on their bodies, from AC/DC to Kiss, to have Marilyn Manson, Luke 10, verse 18, chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. That's why they always use the lightning bolt. And so does Wonka here, right? And like I mentioned with Harry Potter, the producers, of course, you could see the lightning bolt as well, right in the logo for Harry Potter that they use in the trailer. So what else did we see in there? Well, we saw who the villain was in the film, of course, and that's a Catholic priest. Because, of course, they want to lump all Christians or followers of Christ with the Catholic Church and point a finger and say when they hear all this stuff about children and the corruption going on, they want to point a finger and say it starts at the church when they don't realize that these people who are priests in a lot of places, obviously the entire Vatican, that all of these people are not actually Christians or followers of Christ. These are people who are pretending to be so that they can get away with stuff like this. They're actually Satanists at the core, right? That's exactly what happens, but this is how they lead people away from Christianity. So when they hear people pointing about trafficking, everybody's response is, well, look no further than the church, right? Easy to see how they deceive, right? If you have eyes to see and ears to hear. So another thing I wanted to point out, which I don't know if I've specifically covered it over the years, but the fact that they said it the way that they did with the pinky swear, right? It's an oath. The pinky swear, everyone knows, right? You do the pinky swear as a kid. Well, this is another way that they condition people in society to not think anything of Freemasons and their secret handshakes. Because they go, oh, it's like a pinky oath. It's just the same thing with Freemasonry and fraternities. They go, well, it's like a fraternity. Oh, it's like a fraternity. Okay, so we don't look any further. They're doing keg stands. They're playing beer pong every day. All right, and the people with their secret handshakes, like the President of the United States and the prime ministers and the kings and queens, don't be suspicious about it. They're just playing games like kids do. It's like a pinky swear, right? So they indoctrinate them at a young age with all that stuff to make sure that they can deflect as they get older and they start to hear, crazy tinfoil hat wearers like myself talk about these topics and make it really clear as to what's going on. It's a conspiracy, they say, and the clearer you make it to people, which is something I'm very good at doing, I will pat myself on the back for that, because it's very easy to just break this stuff down, and you can make it very complicated. You don't need to. It's very easy to wake people up if you just show them. That's all. Show them the repetition. Show them the consistency. Show them saying their own words and what they're actually talking about with the climate and the population, right? Like the strike I just got. What does it do? Well, it makes people go, oh yeah, well, they are saying it. Oh, and that is what it means. Ta-da, ding, 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 my brain's working all of a sudden, right? So that's why when I cover topics like this, it's very easy to see. It's in Disney movies. It's in cartoons. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. It is a mass indoctrination. So covering something like Wonka, you might be like, well, it's not really a big deal. Well, it's another movie. It's got 30 million views, the trailer. Everybody knows how popular it is. We just had Johnny Depp in one of the movies, and they have another one, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, same thing. They got Wonka coming out, and nobody's looking around going, oh, yeah, it's kind of weird. And immediately they talk about the craft, the first thing he says in the trailer, the craft and magician, right? The constant theme in all these movies targeting and directed towards children, right? Then you get the main character who's, in a NAMBLA film who, if you don't know what NAMBLA is, well, you better sub to the website and check out the documentary over there on it, because it's something you probably want to see. Well, you don't want to see it unless you're, someone who wants to lose their lunch today, but it's something you should know about, because this is the way and the direction the world is headed in. So, ladies and gentlemen, Wonka. Another film directed, marketed towards children, where they talk about these things that then they tell everyone is fiction. Anyone talking about magic, Satanism, and witchcraft is a conspiracy nut. They're crazy. They're Looney Tunes. Yet every single thing and every single song is talking about God and the devil, worshiping the devil, right? Hearing about demons, and then all these movies towards kids. Oh, they're all doing spells. All the superheroes. Oh, that's not magic. It's superpowers. Oh, right. Wink, wink. The craft in Star Wars and, the Kabbalah, and can't say that word. The connection to all that stuff. I mean, it is so obvious and easy to see. They don't want you to be able to piece this stuff together. They want you to live in fantasy land. And that's the reality that they've created for everybody, where they don't believe that these things are actually true. But they are. A reminder again, please subscribe to my backup channel if you haven't yet. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.